Sahana Avatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samastajana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahmavidvaram Satgurum Brahmavidvaram. The Upanishad we are going to reflect in the second session is Kathopanishad. Before any Upanishad study begins, the teacher and the student, the speaker and the listener, they do a prayer together. It's a prayer for mental attunement. May our minds be tuned. May everything be calm and peaceful while this study is going on. Good news is, Kathopanishad Shanti Mantra, all of you have memorized already. Because it is Sahana Avatu. It is the Shanti Mantra of Kathopanishad. We'll see the simple meaning of Sahana Avatu. If you have the book, you can open it. (17) Roman numeral. Let us chant it once again together. Om Sahana Avatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The Shanti Mantra begins with Om. Om is nothing but another name of Bhagavan. Means whenever we take the word Om, the same devotion we feel when we say Bhagavan Krishna, Bhagavan Rama, Bhagavan Shiva. That same emotion should come to mind when we say Om. Sometimes even Balvihar children might ask, what is the meaning of Om? That time we should not go into Mandukya. Om is the substratum of waking, dream and deep sleep, that Turiya which is beyond all the three states. Om is Bhagavan. When this creation started, Brahmaji took two names. One was Om, another was Atha. Om and Atha, these are the two very auspicious names to begin with. Whenever you don't have time to do Mangalacharanam, something important you are starting, we can just say Om. In 17th chapter, Bhagavan says, if you say Om Tat Sat, whatever is the shortcoming in that work, that shortcoming will be completed. So many shortcomings can be there whenever we do things. It can be some bhava dosha, some shortcoming as far as the emotion was concerned. Something outside also can fall short, but it is said if we say Om or Bhagavan's name, all of that is taken care of. Om Sahanau Avatu. May Bhagavan protect both of us. Avatu means to protect. The speaker and the listener, may we both be protected by Bhagavan. Right after this, there is another line which says, Sahanau Bhunaktu. Avatu means to protect. Bhunaktu means to get nourished. To get nourished. What is the difference between both of them? Avatu and Bhunaktu. For example, there is a child, and let us say one bike is coming. And the child is happily walking, not seeing the bike. Quickly you go and pull the child back. That is called as Avatu. We are protecting the child from that bike. But that alone is not sufficient. Mother or parents will also give nourishment to the child. So if we give food and milk, that is Bhunaktu. Both have to be there. Huh? There should be Avatu also, there should be Bhunaktu also. Whenever mind has some kind of erroneous desire, what we saw in the morning class, Kama Krododbhavam Vegam Yaha Sodhum Shaknoti. If right before we acted upon it, if we were able to pull back our mind, that is God's grace. That is called as Avatu. He protected us. We were about to say something, we did not say it. That is Avatu. But whole life cannot be only Avatu. Means pulling back, pulling back, pulling back. There should be some positive value also which is gained. So if he is gaining the quality of compassion, gaining the quality of calmness, that is Bhunaktu. He is also getting nourished by good qualities and values, that is Bhunaktu. Sahanau Avatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu. Our faith in scriptures, it has to be protected. Otherwise it doesn't take much time to feel that what all this study, why am I spending so much time? To lose faith in Shastra is very easy. So our prayer to Bhagavan is, may you protect our faith, Avatu. But that alone is not sufficient. We need to gain clear knowledge also. Gaining knowledge part is Bhunaktu. May we be protected, may we be nourished. In our life, we always swing between these two modes. One mode of life is survival mode. Whenever difficult times are there, challenges are there, that time our prayer is Avatu. Bhagavan, please protect me. May I survive through this storm. May I come out through this storm. But whole life cannot be only survival. There is a part which is creative mode, where I am positively bringing certain changes in my life. That part is Bhunaktu. Sahanau Avatu, Sahanau Bhunaktu. Saha Viryam Karavavahai. This is a prayer to Bhagavan that may the speaker and the listener, both of us, may we put forth effort to understand this knowledge. Means may our effort be in the right direction. May it not be to refute this knowledge. Intellect, it's like a double-edged sword. You can use it to prove something, you can use it to disprove something also. So the prayer is, may we use our intellect together to understand this knowledge. Speaker has to come prepared. What about listener? Listener also has to come prepared. More we reflect upon this knowledge after we have heard, we will realize it's making a lot of difference in our clarity. Simple things, whatever we have discussed, any Shravanam we do, whatever we hear, making sure that before we come to the next one, we have already reflected on the previous one. Ideal is internalized. Before going to the next one, we have internalized the previous one. If not internalized, at least reflected. If not reflected, at least revised. 3 things we are praying that may we both put forth effort. Saha Viryam Karavavahai. Enthusiasm which was there in the beginning, may it continue all the way till end of this study. And when we come to class, may we come with the right frame of mind. Whichever Shravanam, whichever class we go, what we have done before should not interfere during. That is also one kind of preparation. Huh? One of our Swamiji, his style of teaching was, if he says class will start at 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock students have to come and sit in meditation. Just sit quietly. Then he will come after 20-25 minutes. He will come and starting time is there, no end time. If he starts at 7:30, it might go until 9:30. But that is this viryam. That is the effort. May we listen with the right frame of mind and with the right attention. Then comes very important ask from Bhagavan. Tejasvinau adhitam astu. Whatever we have studied, may it be tejasvi. Adhitam means whatever we have studied. May that knowledge be available to me when I need. What was the curse that Karna had? Whatever is his knowledge, he will not remember when he needs. So if we are not prepared, that curse can be very widespread. Means if we don't put forth effort in the right direction, this knowledge will not be available to us when we need it. So the prayer to Bhagavan is, may this knowledge be bright and brilliant. May my reception be good. May my retention be good. And may my recollection be good. Reception, retention, and recollection. 3 things should be very good when we do Vedanta Shravanam. Tejasvinau adhitam astu. There is one Subhashitam which says, Pustakastha vidya parahastagatam dhanam. Karyakale samutpanne nasa vidya natad dhanam. That knowledge which is in books or in Chat GPT, and that wealth which is in somebody else's hand. Chat GPT, somebody told me, they said, nowadays you ask any question, even Arjuna's question you ask Chat GPT, it will give. 5 points it will give. What is the summary of those 5 points? Why do we need anything else? Knowledge which is outside and wealth which is in somebody's hand. Knowledge which is in books and money or wealth which is in somebody's hand. When the opportune time comes, difficult times come, that knowledge is not knowledge, that wealth is not wealth. Samprapte sannihite kale nahi nahi rakshati dukrun karane. When samprapte sannihite kale, only take that part. When sannihita kala comes, that knowledge which is in book is not going to save me. So tejasvinau adhitam astu means, when this person is quiet, waves of Vedanta knowledge keep rising in his mind. Whatever conviction he has gained, those convictions guide his transactional life. It is not only some information, but that knowledge has become a living reality for that sadhaka. Before the final truth becomes a living reality, the sadhana part should become a living reality. I'll again quote the verse that we read this morning. If the storm of anger or desire comes, that verse from Bhagavad Gita should come and speak to us. Only that person who forbears that storm is a happy person, is a well-integrated person. Now it is one thing to study, but Tejasvinau Adhitam means, when that storm comes, I remember that idea. And as though Bhagavan Krishna is guiding us, what we should be doing. For Arjuna it was easy, right? He could just turn around and ask, Bhagavan, I have this problem, what should I do? We can also turn around and ask. Whatever Bhagavan Krishna told Arjuna, same thing is available to us. Same thing is available to us. The one who can remember it, that person is Tejasvi. Tejasvinau adhitamastu. Ma vidvishavahai. See, whenever we spend time together, we develop a lot of bonds, we develop a lot of fondness. But here it is said, it can also develop hatred. Matter of fact. And this is true in particular whenever we live in Gurukula. At home we live with 4 people, maximum 6 people. But Gurukula, we have to live with 60 people. So whatever problems can happen with 6 people, in Hindi they call nok joke. Simple things, For the shower, you have to wait in line, whatever things can be there. Whatever can happen with 6 people, 10 times it will happen with a bigger group. So here the prayer is, may we never forget the purpose for which we are studying. Between listener and listener, may there be no Dvesha. Between speaker and listener, may there be no Dvesha. Dvesha comes when we pay attention to dosha. What is dosha? Shortcoming. Whenever our attention goes on shortcoming, that shortcoming leads to Dvesha. Puja Gurudev has a quote where he says, don't look for the ideal person. Look for the ideal in every person. If we keep looking for ideal person, whole life will be Dvesha. Something we will find, oh, this is not right, that is not right. And Dvesha is a very interesting topic. The person who becomes the recipient of Dvesha, person who becomes recipient of hatred, if he is a sadhaka, he might even get vairagya, he might even get moksha because of that Dvesha. All saints, they have composed so many songs. Jagat mein jhooti dekhi preet. This whole world, what I saw as love, it is not actually love. Upanishad itself says it. Atmanastu kamaya sarvam priyam bhavati. People are dear only because something is dear to them. Means the person who is recipient of Dvesha, that person can even get vairagya, that person can even get moksha. But the one who is having Dvesha, he says that Dvesha is like burning coal. It will first burn the hands before it burns anything else. So this sadhaka, he is doing a prayer to Bhagavan. Mangalacharanam, he says, Ma vidvishavahai. May we remain inspired and may there not be any kind of misunderstanding between us. Puja Guruji mentioned after explaining this Mangalacharanam has to be chanted whenever 2 people are together. It can be between speaker and listener, but you see all the points, not only do we need to get along together, but we also need to grow together. Avatu, and Bhunaktu. And both have to work together. Sahaviryam karavavahe. Whatever knowledge we have gained, whatever work we have done, may it be bright and brilliant. May it benefit, accomplish the purpose. Tejasvinau adhitamastu. And may we not develop hatred towards each other. Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shantihi, Shantihi, Shantihi. What is the first Shanti? That is one pair, one triad. Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adhyatmika. We will discuss another triad. One Shanti is at physical body level. When we sit down for Shravanam, may we develop the ability to not move. It's an acquired skill. We have physical stamina, right? We have mental stamina. There is also something called a spiritual stamina. In the beginning, 15 minutes of satsang is a lot. After 15 minutes, we'll start fidgeting around, keep looking at watch. Something we will do. Means mind is not used to focusing on one thing for more than 15 minutes. But slowly we'll realize as we keep doing more satsang, that ability should be stretched more and more. Naturally it gets stretched. So comfortably you can sit in one position for an hour and focus your mind on the subject matter. Who comes, who goes, don't turn around. That is Shanti at physical body level. Second Shanti is at subtle body level. Subtle body level means may our mind stay in the subject. Physical body might be there, sitting quietly also. But mind might be doing several other things. What I have to do right after this, during the day, what I did before this. Here the prayer is, may there be Shanti at subtle body also, which is mind. Third Shanti is, how many bodies are there? Gross body, subtle body, causal body. Third Shanti is at causal body level, Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is ignorance. May there be peace even at Karana Sharira level. Means may we put forth effort to understand the main message of Upanishads. May ignorance be destroyed. May we be very attentive. Until that destruction happens, there is no turning back. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Whenever we chant, generally people feel Mangala Charanam is optional. Means if class starts at 8 o'clock, they'll say I'll reach at 8:10. Anyway, first 10 minutes they will do Mangala Charanam. But the whole point is, with Mangala Charanam alone, we become fit to attend the class. So Mangala Charanam, if we know the meaning and we sincerely chant it, we will see the benefits of this Mangala Charanam. Now before we begin Kathopanishad, we need some background about Vedas. Bhagavan Krishna says in 15th chapter, Chandamsi yasya paranani, yastam vedasa vedavite. Means in this tree of samsara, if there is one good thing, just like scorching heat is there, and you have this tree, what will give me shade is the leaves. Like that he says, in this tree of samsara, the leaves in the samsara is Vedas. Means a person who is inspired to follow Vedic lifestyle. Chandamsi yasya paranani. If we say we are Sanatana Dharmis, we are from Sanatan Dharma, Hinduism, some basics we should know about Vedas. These are 101. I'm not going into details, not even scratching the surface. Vedas are one body of knowledge which is just like a manual. Anything we get, it comes with a manual which tells what to do, what not to do with it. More precious that thing, greater we pay attention to manual. This body which is available to us, human birth which is available, the manual for living a happy life here, that is called Vedas. It was one body of knowledge which Bhagavan Vedvyashi divided into 4 parts. In olden times, there was no note-taking, no typing. Whatever the teacher says, student has to listen. And whatever he has listened and memorized, he will teach to his student. And Bhagavan Vedvyashi noticed, lot of things were getting lost in this communication. Ability to memorize was going down. Even now you will find people who memorize phone numbers. But with the cell phones, that ability has almost gone. So he noticed this transfer of Vedas through memory is not working. So he divided it into 4 parts and said at least one Veda each person can take for propagation. It's easier to teach one small portion than the whole Vedas. So first Veda, Veda is only one, there are no 4 Vedas. One Veda divided it into 4 parts. First Veda is called as Rig Veda, which has different mantras. Like Gayatri mantra is part of Rig Veda. Second Veda is Yajur Veda. Yajur Veda has lot of details on rituals. Many might be familiar with Purusha Suktam. Right? Purusha Suktam comes in multiple Vedas, but mainly it is in Yajur Veda. But how to use Purusha Suktam mantras for doing that ritual? Those details are there in Yajur Veda. And different sacrifices to get different results, those are part of Yajur Veda. See, in olden days, if they needed rain, they would do a particular yajna. And so much confidence was there, if we do that yajna, rain will come. But of course, it needs that kind of purity, that kind of faith. Person doing it also should be very qualified. So that is Yajur Veda. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda. Third one is Sama Veda. Sama Veda mantras are those which are composed in a musical form. It is said the origin of Saptaswara is in Sama Veda. All these points I am sharing is from the book by Chandrasekhar Bharati Swamiji, The Vedas. There he mentions all these points. Mahaperiyavar. Authenticity should also be there. All points are not. They should be authentic also. That's why reference quoting is helpful. Saptaswaras, they are from Samaveda. Mother's name, Divine Mother's name, Samagana Priya Saumya. One who is delighted by listening to the chant of Samaveda. So that is the third Veda, Samaveda. Fourth one is Atharvana Veda, which has lot of hymns about creation. That is there in Atharvana Veda. This much is good. What are the 4 Vedas? Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda. Now every Veda will have a main essence that it is communicating. So many things might be said in Vedas. What is the main essence of whatever they are saying? That essence is called as Vedanta. Anta means essence. Literal meaning of Vedanta is end of Vedas. Just like if you write a report, the last part, the bibliography will be the anta of that report. So somebody might feel Vedanta is few pages added, appendix, after Vedas were completed. Anta there doesn't mean physical end. Anta means the essence or conviction. If you hear some politician speaking during election time, he might speak for 1 hour, say so many things. What is the essence of his speech? Vote for me. That is called as anta. Whatever he spoke, the final culmination is, give me your vote. So Vedas might have said so many things. They might have talked about heaven. They might have talked about some meditation practice. They might have talked about how creation came about. But what is the main message they want to communicate? That main message is Vedanta. Vedanta is synonymous with Upanishad. Upanishad is the same as Vedanta. They are not 2 different things. What is the main message now? Main message of Veda is your essential nature and essential nature of God is one and the same. Very simple, huh? So many things might be there. The main message is this. God's essential nature is happiness, consciousness, bliss. Or you can say existence, consciousness, bliss. Your essential nature is existence, consciousness, bliss. Both are the same. Essential nature of God is your essential nature. This is how Upanishad will teach. How should the student understand? My essential nature and God's essential nature is one and the same. Student should not repeat back. Oh teacher, your essential nature, God's essential nature is one and the same. Teaching is Tattvamasi. Tat Sat Tvamasi. What is the understanding? Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that infinite reality. All limitations, imperfections that I have is in conditioning. Either it is at mind level, which has to be worked with sadhana. As my essential nature, I am that pure consciousness. This is the main essence of Upanishads. This is the main essence of entire Vedas, which otherwise is called as Mahavakya. Mahavakya. Not Mahakavya. Huh? Sanskrit words sometimes here and there they go. In one place I talked about Mahavakya. He said the Mahakavya was beautiful. I was wondering which poetry I recited. Mahavakya means identity revealing statement. That will be mentioned in every Upanishad, in every Vedantic text. So that is the connection between Vedas and Vedanta. Vedas talk about how to be happy here, lot of do's and don'ts. Just like any manual, right? First thing it will say is, do this, don't do this. So Vedas also like that manual, they will also say, do this, we'll be happy. Don't do this, because we'll be unhappy. Now rules are not only to make our life miserable. Rules are there so that we can actually live our life well. And Vedanta is the essence of Vedas, the final culmination or the understanding of Vedas. Sometimes what happens is, when you do too much of description, we miss the main point. Like if somebody asks a point blank question, tell me what is Vedanta? We should not start with Srishti Prakriya. Although we studied in Tattva Bodha how creation came about, Sadhana Chatushtaya, all of them are finally leading to Mahavakya. So Vedanta's main point of teaching is your essential nature and essential nature of God is one and the same. If we only speak about nature of God, that is Bhakti Marga, devotional path. If we only speak about our essential nature, that is path of yoga. Vedanta is putting both together. It is saying your essential nature and God's essential nature is one and the same. The way we have to understand is, my essential nature and nature of God is one and the same. So this is about Vedanta. Now the question can be, what is the difference between Vedanta and Prakarana Grantha? Prakarana Grantha means auxiliary text. One Prakarana Grantha we studied in the last semester was Bhaja Govindam. Something like Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, Drugdrishya Viveka. What is the difference between Upanishad and Prakarana Grantha? Prakarana Grantha will elaborate a specific part that will help us understand Upanishad. Prakarana Grantha is not independent. Prakarana Grantha is based on Upanishad. Simplest example for this is when we do our taxes. The tax laws which are there, they are very complicated. Just to read them directly is very hard. So what do? We have a software on top of it. It will take the same laws and write in simple questions that we can understand. 10 questions it will ask or more. But in a way that we can understand rather than directly going to those tax laws. That is what Prakarana Grantha will do. To understand Upanishad directly, they were revelations to rishis. Vedas and Upanishads, they were not composed by a person. So naturally, when that revelation is there, all ideas are not systematically presented. Prakarana Grantha is composed by an individual. They will take those same ideas and present it in a systematic way. There was one very famous lawyer. His name was Nani Palkhiwalaji. Whenever the budget would be released, the day after he would give a talk. And all the accountants, lawyers, everybody would throng to listen to him. He would not create the budget. Neither is he saying anything different from the budget. But he is only saying in a way that everybody understands. That is what Prakarana Grantha does. In Kathopanishad, they will not say, okay, sadhana chatushtaya means viveka, vairagya, shamadhi shatka sampatti, mumukshutvam. It will not say. It will just keep going. The story will keep going. But if you study Tattva Bodha, same thing they will take and they will present it in a systematic way. Any Prakarana Grantha we study, the purpose is to help us enter Upanishad. Tattva Bodha will give lot of clarity about terms, terminologies. If we keep using our own terms, we will always think something else. For example, if I say soul and ask 10 people what is the meaning of soul, everybody will have their own definitions. But if you say jiva and you define precisely what is jiva, then whenever you say jiva, everybody is on the same page. So communication becomes more effective when terms are clear. So Tattva Bodha will talk about terms. And I would encourage, if you are new to this session, just recently joined, please do go back to Tattva Bodha. Lot of fundamentals are discussed there. It's a very good foundation for Kathopanishad. Atma Bodha will talk about concepts. Different concepts which will help us understand what is Vedanta again. Drigdrisha Viveka is more talking about the philosophy part. How to meditate, how to shift attention back from this world. Like that, every Prakarana Grantha clarifies some aspect by which we can enter the study of Upanishads. So that is the connection between Upanishad and Prakarana Grantha. Now there is some uniqueness about Upanishads and Vedas. These are again 101. We will not recap this every time. Whenever we start something new, it is good to revise it. Upanishads are not somebody's intellectual composition. Means a person or a rishi did not sit in his drawing room and think about what should be the nature of truth. There is no authorship to Upanishads or Vedas. So first quality is Vedas are authorless. If it is authorless, how did they come into being then? Somebody must have written it. I am reading the mantra. Who held the pen and wrote? That rishi who meditated upon the truth, because of their purity, those mantras were revealed to them. they are not creators of mantras. They are not mantra karta, they are mantra drashta. Just like when we say Columbus discovered America, what does it mean? He did not create America. It was there even before he came. He just brought it to notice of everybody. When we say Newton discovered gravity, apple would fall even before he came up with the law. But all he did was, he sought for that knowledge and that knowledge became clear to him. In the same way, those rishis with pure mind who sought for that truth, that knowledge became clear to them. That's why they never claim ownership over Vedas. This is the difference. Many other religions, their holy book will have one author. If somebody asks, who is the author of Vedas? What is our answer? Vedas were revelations. There is no one person who has authored it. Neither did Bhagavan Vedvyasji author it, nor did any rishi author it. They just brought it for our study. This word in Sanskrit is called as apaurusheyam. Paurusheyam means product of human intellection. Apaurusheyam means not product of human intellection. These Sanskrit words are important. More we write it down and also stay with it, it will help us later. So first quality of Veda is, it is not authored by a person, apaurusheyam. Second quality is, it is eternal. There was never a time when Vedas were not there and they were created at some point. They might have become unmanifest and come into manifestation, but they were never lost. Swami Vidyaranyaji, he says, Vedas are like the breath of Bhagavan. We don't say person is become alive and then breathing started. He says whenever he is alive, breathing is naturally going on. So Bhagavan is eternal. His breath, Vedas are also eternal. That is the second quality. Vedas are nityam. It is eternal. Third quality is, Vedas are also valid means of knowledge. Valid means of knowledge means, once that knowledge takes place through that valid means, I don't need anything else to validate it. For example, if I want to learn music, let us say, what will be my valid means of knowledge? First, I have to go to a teacher. Teacher will point me to certain resources. So, teacher along with resource will become my valid means of knowledge to learn music. If I say I want only resource, no teacher, knowledge will not take place. If I say I want only teacher, no resource, still knowledge will not take place. So that particular resource will become our valid means of knowledge. In the same way, if we are seeking for nature of consciousness, nature of truth, our valid means of knowledge is Vedas. Because the subject matter of all other means of knowledge is not this truth. If you say physics, for example, the subject matter of physics is some object outside. And Upanishads are talking about that truth which is not an object. No matter what you find, if it becomes an object, it is not the truth. So Upanishads will talk about the subject, the nature of that truth, and it is a valid means of knowledge to understand it. Even for worldly knowledge, we need valid means or not. Music, we said it. Just take form, for example, or color. If I say I want to know color, valid means is eyes. Somebody might say, I have heard this is yellow. And somebody says, I have seen it is yellow. Hearing is not powerful, seeing is more powerful. For color, sight is the valid means of knowledge. Like that, for Upanishads, or for this truth, Upanishads and Vedas, they are valid means of knowledge. So that is called as pramanam. Pramanam. First one was apaurushayam, second one was nityam, third is pramanam. If somebody asks us, right, what is Veda? These are the points we should be able to know for ourselves first. There are 4 Vedas. The essence of Veda is called as Vedanta. And the nature of Veda is, it is not just a book. It's a valid means of knowledge, not composed by a person, and it is eternal. So this is just some background about what are Vedas. Now little bit about Kathopanishad itself. In total, there are 108 Upanishads. 108 Upanishads. There is one Upanishad called as Muktika Upanishad, where all 108 names are counted. And that is where the famous mantra comes, for moksha, mandukya eva alam. That doesn't mean we should study only mandukya. Means if we get conviction in Jagat Mithyatva, which is the main topic of mandukya, that alone is sufficient. But out of these 108, Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written commentaries on 10 Upanishads. Because Upanishads by themselves to understand are not easy. If you directly go to the Upanishad mantra, great chances of misunderstanding. Even the grammar doesn't follow the conventional grammar. So whatever Bhagavan Shankaracharya wrote commentary on, they came to be known as major Upanishads. Now major is not in terms of the teaching. Major is because Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written commentaries on those 10. Puja Guruji says in this introduction, every Upanishad is like a mirror. If we have this question, how many Upanishads should I study? What is the real question? How many mirrors should I see to see my face? If I see correctly in one, even one is sufficient. But let us say the mirror was unclean. He said then seeing the face is not possible. If my eyes were blindfolded, then also in spite of mirror being there in front, I cannot see. When everything is good, mirror being dirty means impurity is there in the mind. Blindfold means not understanding how Upanishad is pramanam. Mukura malina, arunayana bihina, Rama rupa dekahi kimidina. Goswamiji says in Ramcharitmanas that if somebody is blindfolded or mirror is unclean, how will that person come to see his face? Like that, if he wants to see Rama, in spite of Upanishads being there, if mind is impure or he has not understood how mantra will lead me to the result, then also he will not see the truth. The question form of this doubt, of not understanding what is pramanam, that will be, I am seeking happiness, But what is this study all the time? How will reading a book lead me to happiness? What that means is, we need to reflect more upon what is the nature of truth and what is the meaning of pramanam. That truth is never an object. It is our own true nature. And pramanam, those words, will just shift our attention to that truth. So out of 108 Upanishads, 10 are major Upanishads. Out of those 10 Upanishads, Kathopanishad is the most simplest one, the most straightforward, and very easy to understand. Lot of ideas keep getting repeated. And different examples are used, different ways of elaborating the nature of truth. That we will find in Kathopanishad. Total there are 119 mantras divided into 2 chapters. And every chapter has 3 vallis. Valli means a creeper. So imagine every chapter has 3 creepers or 3 sections. So in total there are 119 mantras. Now this teacher and the student of Kathopanishad both are great. So in this class we will not read Shankaracharya's commentary, but I will bring relevant ideas. Commentary, sub-commentary, whatever relevant ideas are there, everything we will bring. So the way it works is, there is Upanishad mantra. On Upanishad mantra there is Bhagavan Shankaracharya's commentary. That is called as Bhashya. On Bhagavan Shankaracharya's Bhashya and the mantra, there is a sub-commentary called as Tika. That is written by Anand Giriji. His tuning with teacher was such, whatever we cannot understand in Bhashya, he will elaborate in Tika. And then different acharyas, they have written footnotes called as Tippani. One word they will open, one facet they'll open up. But don't worry, we are not going into all 4. But different ideas we will discuss. So Shankaracharya ji, before he starts his commentary on Kathopanishad, he writes one line. That line we can lead and repeat. I think it won't be there in your CCMT book. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya. Mrutyave. Mrutyave. Brahma Vidyacharyaya. Brahma Vidyacharyaya. Nachiketa Secha. Nachiketa Secha. He says, before we start this study, we have to bow down to the teacher. But he also bows down to the student. Nachiketa Secha. Somebody must have asked, what was so great about Yamacharya ji? He said, there were several things great about him. First thing is, he was knower of the self. Brahmavit, the one who knows the nature of self, that was Yamacharya, Lord Yama. That is why we have to bow down to him right at the beginning. Second is, in spite of being knower of the self, he still keeps on doing his duty and his role according to his duty. That is called as Jivan Mukta. While living, they are liberated. Like that, this Yamacharya, in spite of having that knowledge, he is carrying on with his role. That is the second reason we should bow down to Lord Yama. Now he might be Brahmavit, knower of the self, he might be doing his duty. But what is his duty? Not an easy one. Yama's duty is very difficult. in spite of his duty being difficult, because of the knowledge that he has, he is not affected by his duty. In spite of his job being difficult. That is why his adjective is mrutyave. In spite of his role being difficult, on the strength of knowledge of Upanishad, he is not affected by that duty. He says that is why we bow down to him. Now somebody might have knowledge of the self. They might be living, doing their duties per the role. They might be doing it very well also. But they might not have desire to teach. He says Yamacharya is somebody who has all those three things, but is also an Acharya. He also has the patience to teach Nachiketa, and with so many different examples, so many different ways. So we bow down to Yamacharya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya. To Vaivasvata, who is Yamacharya, we bow down to. Brahma Vidya Acharyaya. He is the teacher of Brahma Vidya. Mrutyave. So Mrutyave represents his job is difficult. Brahma Vidya Acharya means he is ready to teach. And Nachiketa Secha. Shankaracharya is bowing down to the student of Kathopanishad. Why is he bowing down to Nachiketa? Puja Guruji, he mentioned a very nice thing. He said, Nachiketa went and met Yama in Mrityuloka. Then after he came back, he must have taught here also. In this world also. So he is also in that same parampara of Guru. So that is why Nachiketa se cha. But another reason is, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says, we bow down to the qualifications of Nachiketa. That little boy, he is talking to Yamacharya, and he is saying, I don't want anything but this self-knowledge. He says that commitment is worthy of namaskara. Namaskara to the vairagya that he has. Namaskara to the varanam, the firm conviction that he has for this knowledge. Whenever we start the study, he says we should bow down to both of them. Brahma Vidya Acharyaya Nachiketa se cha. So we saw different things, but I hope we'll also keep track. Okay? Tejasvinaho adhitamastu. Different points about nature of Vedas, Vedanta. What are the different Vedas? Prakarana Grantha and Vedas. And this point of the teacher, Yamacharya and Nachiketa. Next session we'll enter into the Upanishad. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.